All right, how's it going, everybody? Hey, this is Bodie Werner. My mother is going to be starting soon. Let me try turning on my Ring camera because my team doesn't like it when I don't have the Ring camera on. By that I mean the Ring light. And of course, it's all plugged in, but it doesn't want to work. Such is life. You'll have to see me without the ring light. I'm just here filling in. She's about to be here in a second. Let's see. There she is.
Hey everybody. Hi, thanks for being here. I'm Clare Cooley. That's Bodie Werner, the son part of Mother Son Productions. He named us. He asked me to work with him. I'm so grateful. We're doing the creativity show. Thanks to the Minnesota State Arts Board for the grant to do these live streams. This series is about illustrating my life story. So we're going to show you a quick, about a 4-minute video of this painting that I'm going to continue in front of you. Gonna put out, are you ready to put that out?
Let me have 1 second here.
So while he's getting that ready, I will say that we're showing the painting process, and I'm talking about, well, I guess my philosophy of why creativity is so important for us and the world. It helps heal us because we express any and all emotions can be expressed creatively without hurting anyone, without wasting anything, respectfully stimulating our immune system, healing us, and sharing what we've learned through what we've been through. So even the toughest stuff gets to be beneficial because we learn things, we gain wisdom and perspective. And
ready to play when you are.
Okay, go ahead and start the video of this painting coming into being, and we'll continue it in a couple minutes when this time lapse is done. So here's, this is called, this painting, I believe is going to have the title of Quonset Query. And as anyone who knows me knows, I like alliteration. It's playful, it's easy to remember, it's creative, and it's down to earth. There are people who are, well, I would say pretentious, who don't like alliteration. They think it's lowbrow, and I don't mind annoying people that are pretentious with my, oh, we got the cloud.
Yeah, that's in there for a sec.
Yeah, well, I often work on a series at once so that when I need a break from one, I need to let it dry in between layers. I need a perspective break, an objectivity distance on something. I go to the other one. So I love creating. It is meditative. Besides the healing of expressing emotions and the growing through reflecting on ourselves, and this series of visual metaphors for my life story is, I've learned a lot already. And this painting, Quonset Quandary, or Quonset Quest, I don't know. We'll see what I arrive at when it's done or before it's assembled into an exhibition. But working title, Quonset Quandary, which is how, as my first home outside of my mother in the desert under these deafeningly loud monsoon rains, my feeling is it was peaceful because I felt totally connected to everything in nature and in the cosmos. And so that's the reason that there's the outer space happening in the if you look into the Quonset hut, this simple metal structure, and the monsoon rains and lightning must have just for a new being like myself at the time, 1-year-old, must have just been so dramatic, but I felt I always have, part of the whole cosmos, and I feel connected to everything and everyone, and I do believe that that is not only scientifically accurate. The universe is in us, we're in the universe, we're all part of nature, we are nature. Nature is our home on earth, but we're all connected to everything. Is comforting and inspiring. So to have the outer space, the deep space inside the Quonset hut is like my earliest earthly memories. Some of them are this feeling of being part of the immense mystery around me of nature and the cosmos. So that's why this visual metaphor, the saguaro cactuses of the desert, they're kind of like beings themselves. They each have a sort of upright, they kind of look like green people to me. And as a little girl, I think they were my friends. I've always had nature friends, bugs and lizards and birds and butterflies, and never felt alone, even though I had a very isolated childhood in a lot of ways. I didn't feel safe in school, so I stopped going anytime I could disappear into nature, starting at 7, which I became really good at. And when the truancy officers found me at 14 and the Board of Education decided to send me to a psychiatrist, the psychiatrist said, don't change. Because I found a way to focus on beauty, and that's what I want to share, the beauty that surrounds us. So are we ready to turn this camera on so I can start painting?
Anytime you'd like.
All right.
It's on.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add copper to the sand for a shimmering quality. And so I'm bringing the copper that I mixed with some water, golden acrylic paints, that the links to these different materials I use, is that what they're called, links?
Yeah.
Okay, are in the, you tell them about that. Where can they see these materials I'm using? We're going to set this right here on the...
Hello.
Oh, that was really right there.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you there. She was really in the art zone. So I come out here because if I talk in there, it echoes, and it doesn't sound good for people. So anytime I am going to speak, I'm going to come out here. The links that she's referring to that have to do with her, art materials, I will be sharing throughout the video. And right now in the first link in the description is a link to her book. It is a memoir and art book featuring a bunch of pieces of her art and life stories, and you can check that out now. And I will be sharing the links to the materials that she uses in the chat for these videos, and you can click on them.
The 68 pieces of art that we included in my memoir, 55 stories, I believe, the art comes between each short story in the book, because meditating on nature and the balance in the natural world and the serenity there is part of how I got through the difficulties, which there were a number of, many in fact, and we all have them. And so I want to share the art as a moment of meditative peace between the stories. Some of them are difficult, and to offer that respite. And it's a very crucial part of my life, so it seemed appropriate to share the art in between each story. None of it is literal about the stories. It's just my art is part of my life and part of how I return to positivity. These series I'm doing now are illustrating my life story. I call it Painting My Path. And so here we go with adding copper to the desert. First thing I'm doing is painting with water, and then I'm going to put some copper acrylic golden. This is watercolor so far.
I'm coming out of the office. I put in the chat a link to the golden acrylic paint set. So you want to tell them a little bit about why you like that?
I've used them. In fact, the outfit I'm wearing is golden acrylics. I did the stencil. I like to show the stencil, another art form of, what we can do with our creativity. And I share my stencils on my Patreon, which Bodhi can tell you about. But these are, I think, are 26 warblers on this scarf that I realized if I put a belt around it, I could wear the scarf without it falling off. And I thought that was a clever little...
Really nice. Can we see the back? Because I think there's even more.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of them. And so this is a comfortable way that stays put and doesn't constrict me, and is another layer of warmth in this cold time of year. So I like to use my art to do, well, anything I can that I want in my life, from clothing and jewelry and decor and dishes and furniture and writing and painting. I just love to create, and I find it peaceful and restorative, joyous. And especially now, there's so much division and anger and confrontational stuff in the world. There's always been that part of the world, of humanity, but there are people that use it, dividing people to try to gain more power and control for themselves, very selfishly. There's always been that kind of people, and fear and anger is kind of a tried and true and easy way to divide and conquer, I call it. So this copper, which is very much the same color tones as this sandy landscape, but it has this shimmer that I like. And I'm not trying to be, photographs are great for realism, obviously, my mother called my artistic style elegant primitivism. I call what I do, sometimes I refer to it as dreamlike realism, because I'm inspired by real nature, real feelings, but I, like every artist, add my own feelings, my own particular, specific to me perspective, as every artist does. And I feel good about that. It's what I can share that no one else can, as is true of every one of us. Our perspective, no one else has. Our knowledge we've gained through what we've been through, what we've processed, our experiences make us who we are. What we do with what happens to us gives us an advantage if what we do with it is grow from it, use it as strengthening. So that's what I try to do. Have no regrets even about tough stuff by learning from it.
You got a question about they said, is that a sunset or a sunrise?
Well, that's a darn good question. And honestly, I hadn't decided. And I love to leave a lot of creative room for the viewer to decide what they see or feel in my work, whether it's writing or painting or decor or so what do you see is how I would answer that. And that's what it is for you is good enough for me.
Yeah, you got a picture, you got a question on YouTube. What are your inspirations for this piece, and did you go there or did you use pictures?
Well,
I assume they mean for like the inspiration.
Right. I have been back to where I was born in the desert a number of times. My family left when I was just an infant, a toddler. I think maybe I was 1.5 when we left the desert, but I've been back a number of times. And so that's my inspiration. And I do often use photographs of like the saguaros, the Quonset hut, the monsoon rains, clouds as reference. So I do try to go from the real thing. I use photographs to give me information, but then I'm not ever literally, literal or copying. I'm combining in my own way the desert the clouds, the saguaros, the Quonset. So I could use a number of different photographs of each of the elements, but none of them is going to look like the photograph because it's my combination of those elements, not taking the photograph and copying it. So when I came back from the International Crane Foundation, I had taken hundreds of photographs of the cranes, and I brought back hundreds of other people's photographs of the 15 species, as well as 600 pages of folklore and mythology about the cranes. And I filled my studio with all that visual and written information in order to do the Book of Cranes. And I decided that I wanted to tell the story of the cranes, all 15 species, so each one of them was in kind of a different posture, things cranes do in a different environment. So you put them all together and you get a cross section of the crane life. And in this series I'm doing now, Painting My Path, there are moments in my life, the visual metaphors that are turning into paintings that had a profound influence on me. So this painting is about the connection and how small I was and how huge the desert and the sky and the cosmos, but I felt, because I felt and still do connected to all of it, I don't feel insignificant, even though I'm teeny and compared to the incomprehensibly large universe. I feel like I'm part of all of it, and I'm as significant as anything and everything. And so it's strangely and wonderfully comforting. So that's what this is, my smallness, the hugeness. Any one of us is tiny in the universe, but because we're connected to all of it, we're also huge. So now I'm going to do some silver in the middle of the Quonset hut, and I need clean water so it doesn't have the copper in it. And I use these little pitchers. So the first thing I'm going to do is paint with water, and it always feels magic to me when you paint with water and you can't really see it unless you go sideways and you see the sheen of the water, and then you tip the pigment into it and it flows in the space. So I'm not going to leave this on here because this is wet, so I'm going to be careful, hopefully.
You got another question, and that is, are those paints stinky? I don't like stinky paints, says Pam.
I do not like stinky paints either, which is why I don't paint with oil paints. These acrylic paints are not stinky, and of course the watercolor is not stinky, but I still recommend good ventilation. And as you can see that I use a little dish and I take a little bit of the paint out of the container and mix it with water for this particular circumstance instead of opening the whole thing. So I'm very careful about air quality, keeping the air pure. and I do have an air purifier. I did notice that I had one of these metallic paints that kind of hardened. Maybe I hadn't screwed the lid on tight enough, and so I added water to it inside the container instead of in a little dish to try to get it viscous again, and that stunk when I opened it up. So I created some chemical reaction. So I only used that particular acrylic paint outside or in a well-ventilated place because it doesn't smell right. When I did etching on glass, I built myself a box to with a tunneling back to a vacuum that, and I wore a mask and all of that because glass dust in your lungs can be very terrible for you. So I was very careful when I was doing designs on glass, drawing, etching on glass to suck that glass dust out the back of the box and wear a mask when I did it. So it's very important to take care of, especially our lungs, well, all our organs. And so here we go. All right, well, this metal Quonset hut is feeling more like metal with this silver in it. Are there any other questions or comments to address?
What's your most common advice that you find yourself giving people?
As a creativity coach, which I was asked to do in my 20s, and I ended up teaching every grade level as an artist in residence for the public schools and mental hospitals, drug rehab, so many different, from professionals, nurses, teachers, probation officers, lawyers, judges. We're all people. And the most important thing is love yourself. If it makes you happy and it doesn't hurt anyone else, do it. If it gives you joy, do it. And if you've forgotten what gave you joy, what gives you joy creatively, try to remember as a little person, what did you like playing with? What did you like exploring? What were the joy-giving activities? And go back to that. And don't worry, don't let other people take your joy out of it by trying to control you, trying to be right if they've forsaken their own playfulness. Creativity is always playing, experimenting. So give yourself permission to enjoy the process. And anyone who can't let you enjoy the process, who has to, feels the need to criticize you and your process, love them at a distance. Don't let them into the sphere of your creative joy to mess with it. And there's a lot of criticalness in the world, so creativity is about playing with the ideas, with the inspiration, learning, expressing. It's always new. If it's true art, it's never before. So you can't, it's folly to compare it to anything else or anyone else. But just enjoy the process. And anyone who doesn't let you enjoy the process, next, nice or next. Well, that was a lot of advice there, but hopefully it helps. I need a little daubing cloth that I don't have here because I don't want any stripes like that. Do this.
You need something?
I think we're all right, but maybe a little tissue.
As in paper towel?
Paper towel, toilet tissue, one of the little towels from the restroom is fine.
I'll grab it.
So now I'm going to put, now that I've gone with this copper metallic on the sand, the silver metallic for the metal, I'm going to go for some gold metallic in the sunrise sunset. Maybe it's both.
I love it.
And that question about the most common advice, Bodhi, my son, is a movie maker, a novel writer. Bo, what's the most common thing I've said to you? Most often repeated.
Wow. Well, let's see. I mean, you talk a lot about not letting the critical voice stop you. If the voice of doubt comes knocking, don't answer the door.
That's good. That's his way of putting it. I say, I've said this many times, the first time the critical voice makes a critical comment, I say, you're not needed now. This is time to play, not criticize. And if it comes back, I say, perhaps you didn't hear me. This is not your time. This is play, enjoy the creative process. And if it comes back again, I say, get the F out. So, because my mother was the champion of me being me, I try to be the champion of everyone else being themselves. And because of learning that, getting that from my mother, hopefully I'll pass it on to my son and to others, many others I've worked with. And so, he's written his novel and he's doing this series. Talk about that. Would you?
Yes. Okay. I'll sit here, I suppose, or here. Yeah, so I am. We're working on an episodic series based on my novel, which itself is the first in a series. It's like if the small town murder mystery of Twin Peaks was set in a 90s version of Duluth, but with monsters and mad scientists and cyborgs. And so we have produced 2 episodes. I'm currently editing the second one. Each episode is a short film featuring different characters from the novel. And, we are mentoring regional aspiring filmmakers while making films. That's a major motivation behind this project, is to help empower the next generation of filmmakers and build a film ecosystem here in Duluth so that the local film industry can continue to thrive. And it's just been a fantastic experience. We got to work with some amazing people. And the last film, which we just shot in September and October, it's called Girl Scout and Tomboy. And the Girl Scout is Fiona Kelly, played by Fiona Kelly, who lives in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And the Tomboy is played by Jagger Ripley Jockola, Arikara tribe indigenous person, girl who lives in Fond du Lac, on the Fond du Lac Res near Duluth. And her mother, Liz Jockola, started the Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College Film School, which is just amazing. And so we got to mentor some of their students, which just was fantastic experience. So much fun. Yeah, and so it's really cool to take this idea that I had and was writing, and she creativity coached me through the process of taking this this dream that I had and turning it into a novel, and now to be seeing it turned into films and getting to experience the beauty of taking a character who was an idea in my mind and then getting to watch these amazingly talented people bring those characters to life. It's just a wonderful experience. And the first episode was an animated short film that I animated in Unreal Engine. So it's entirely 3D animated. And I worked with stellar voice actors. And so we're going to be taking each of these episodes and turning them into an episodic series, and hopefully getting it on a streaming platform like Shudder or Crypt or something. Meanwhile, we're distributing it through my Patreon, patreon.com/Bodie the Movie Maker. And we are so delighted that we got fiscal sponsorship from Zeitgeist Arts and Community Center here in Duluth. They are our fiscal sponsor, so we can now offer 100% tax-deductible charitable donations to help support this project and the mentorships that we're doing as part of it. And we're going to be hosting screenings for the short films at the Zeitgeist Movie Theater, as well as other public events. And yeah, so much cool stuff happening. And if you want to be involved, if you're interested in filmmaking, if you're an aspiring filmmaker, or you just want to learn more about it, or you're an experienced filmmaker, we are constantly looking for collaborators. It takes a village to make a movie, let alone an episodic series composed of 6 short movies. And what's really so please reach out in the Facebook messages, in the comments, email us, and we are building our Rolodex, so to speak, because it's very important as an independent filmmaker to be able to have the pipeline to go from an idea to writing it, to pre-production, to production, to editing it and distributing it. You have to have all of those pieces in order for your idea to become manifest in something that the audience can experience. And it's a creative generalist mindset. And we're building the team by making movies, and we want you to be a part of it. That was my TED Talk.
There you go. And it's not just the next generation of filmmakers, it's every generation. Ageism is another, don't fall into the ism schism. Sexism, racism, ageism, elitism. It's all broken world rules.
Yes, well, and on set we had people of all ages and diverse cast and crew of, and we pride ourselves in diversity and non-discrimination, and I think my stories, as well as the way that we tell them, reflect a aspirational view of humanity. I've always loved Star Trek. In fact, she watched Star Trek before I was born, and I grew up with a love of Star Trek because that's what we watched together when I was a kid. That's her, that was the one TV show that she would watch. And so I grew up with this utopian ideal, this aspirational view of what humanity could achieve when we get beyond, discrimination and division, and this idea of eclectic and diverse communities working together. And so my stories reflect that, and the way that we produced it also reflects that. And I think it's great, especially Northport, my fictional story world, which is set in a reimagining of Duluth, for the story and the way that we produce it to reflect the cultural makeup of the place that we are depicting. It may be a fictional version of Duluth called Northport, Minnesota, but it is a love letter to this place, and it's a celebration of the parts that I admire most about it, and that includes its inclusivity, diversity, and progressive ideologies.
Well, the mission of I like to say, stories worth telling, movies worth watching because they're uplifting. And of course, Bodhi and I have very different tastes. I'm into the peace of nature, and he's into the people that want to protect peace. And so there's a lot of exciting, thrilling, sometimes violent, all that stuff. But the thread that runs through it is uplifting.
Yeah.
And the world needs more of that. And so that's what we're doing, because it makes us feel good about it. And if it were just horror and violence for its own sake, I wouldn't be that interested. I'd still love them and I'd still be supportive, but I wouldn't be as involved because it would drain me. But it's not. It's stories worth telling about, I like alliteration, we know that, humble hometown heroes who prevail against the most powerful predators on the planet.
Great.
Goofy, cute, but that is what it's about.
It's a great slogan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah. And we're here. Well, we get to decide what we do with our lives, and helping other people share what gives them joy and what makes the world better gives me joy. And they say giving releases the same happy-making chemicals in the brain as receiving. And so giving people encouragement to share their creativity has always been deeply rewarding for me, which I guess is why 9 people in one day said you should teach. And I wrote a curriculum that interweaves the arts, called Dancing into the Arts, because I like all of the arts, which I'm going to say one thing and we'll get to the comment or question, which is that when Bodhi asked me to work with him and I said yes, and he named his Mother-Son Productions, I realized, well, movie making is the art form that combines all the other art forms that I've done my whole life in a new and challenging way. So I'm learning a lot working with him and all the wonderful people it attracts. Go ahead.
Sue Spencer on Facebook said, "You two are an inspiration. Aw, love Mother-Son Productions. You have many exciting projects and stories happening."
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Sue. And I'm going to say that when we travel the country for a year between our last home on the West Coast, and we lived in an RV that we named the Reason Manor so we could choose a home in a Reason Manor. I said, I'm going to take a year. We've been through some tough stuff in California and needed some time to heal and decompress. So we're going to take a year, and I called it In Search of True Beauty. So we talked a lot about what we wanted to do with our lives in order to pick where to relocate. And Duluth was the top of my list. My father was born here. I came to see it when I was probably, I think, 18. And I was so impressed by how kind and helpful and collaborative people are here. I came back, and then in one day, 9 people said, you should teach. And I'm like, wow, well, I didn't go to school. What do I know? You know how to be creative. So I taught. It was so beautiful and fulfilling. But I had to leave because back then I couldn't get enough vegetarian food to stay healthy with all the activity I was doing. No longer a problem. But anyway, I said to Bodhi, it's the top of my list, but you have to pick it too, because I don't want you mad at me in the middle of winter. So it was at Sue's house. We stopped in with a friend that he said, Mom, I thought you were exaggerating about how nice people are here, because you're so romantic and you like everybody, but you didn't exaggerate. And so he picked Duluth too, thanks to Sue and her generous, kind, open-hearted family. Bodhi also picked Duluth, and neither one of us have had a moment of regret. So thank you, Sue. Thank you to this community that supports, appreciates the arts, and Sue being a fantastic musician who Era and Willow Green, I believe, are both groups she's in, and they're going to be playing soon. I think it's Sacred Heart on the 21st, I believe. But let's see if we can put a link to that up, Bo. Is that possible?
One more time, link to what?
Sue and Era and Willow Green playing, I believe it's Sacred Heart on the 21st, but I'm not positive. So see if you can get. Great. And art, all of us, we're all in it together. We're all connected. What we have in common is so much more important than our differences. And this is a really important time in humanity for us to focus on what we have in common instead of our differences, and shore up the beautiful part of being human beings, and living on this spectacular planet, which is the only place in the known universe where life exists. And let us protect each other and the world, nature.
All right, so I'm sharing Sue's event page on the screen right now for those of you to see. Sue and her bands, plural, are playing at the Sacred Heart Music Center on Sunday, 2 to 5 p.m. Sacred Heart Music Center in Duluth.
Beautiful.
Love it. And Sue said another comment, so glad you moved to Duluth. Thank you for sharing all your talents.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Back at you. That means a lot, especially from somebody so talented like you.
Thank you. Okay, well, I think since I've added some, when we come back to this painting, I've added some gold in the sunrise sunset. I've added some of the silver into the monsoon clouds. I've added some copper and some silver on the Quonset metal, and now it needs to dry. So I think that needs to be it for today. Should I bring out? Nope, we're at the right time to sign off. If there's anything else I need to say, address.
Yeah, so Sue was just saying, yes, the concert is Sunday, December 21, the winter solstice, 2 p.m. at Sacred Heart Music Center. Fantastic.
Well worth hearing their beautiful, inspirational music. A lot of traditional, and I would assume some of their own stuff, but really, really beautiful and inspirational. And so hopefully you can check them out. That would be, I'm sure you'd enjoy it. So thank you for your help, Bo.
Sue sent 100 stars. Woohoo! Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. You're an angel. And, we're all in this together, so let's shore each other up instead of tear each other down. And promote peace. Find it in ourselves and share it. And that's why I do art. That's why I share what I do. Is people have said it's helped them feel more peaceful. Our friend who's been a mentor to Bodhi and a friend, I think he's won 9 Emmys, something close to that, if not that, said that these live streams were very meditative. And I thought, well, what a beautiful compliment that is in this world of so much divisiveness and conflict. Meditative is really why I do it and what I want to share, hoping it helps us recover some peace and work on the stuff that needs our attention from a peaceful point of view. So thanks for being here, everybody, and hopefully you tell a friend, and if they can't be here for the live part Wednesdays and Sundays at noon, you can see them anytime after on the Creativity Show YouTube channel. They're all listed there, and there's lots of them, all kinds of different, from stenciling on clothes and making stencils and painting, and even my book audio version is there. Lots and lots of creativity. So thanks for being here, and stay peaceful and share it. Thanks.